Not all industries are built the same. Just because an industry needs your help doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be the right marketing funnel customer for your business. In this video, I want to talk about why just because someone wants to work with you doesn't necessarily mean that you should work with them, why an industry is not a niche, why you should avoid focusing on certain industries, and I'm going to give you those industries, and why some industries will actually kill your business even if you're focusing on them as a niche. Hey guys, Mike here from Sell Your Service. If you're a funnel builder, go ahead and subscribe. I produce new videos every single week, helping funnel builders like you attract and close 5-figure deals. I've got some free training down below on how to choose a niche for your marketing funnel business. But in the meantime, let's talk about the 5 industries to avoid with building funnels. So the problem is that we need a niche. I'm constantly banging on about, finding a niche for your business and carving out a niche for your own marketing funnel business. It's the only way really to succeed. Otherwise, it's very difficult to attract attention. It's also far easier to raise your prices when you do have a niche. However, we also believe that having a niche means going after a particular industry. So aside from the fact that I don't believe that a niche is an industry, I want to talk to you about 5 industries that you should avoid anyway, regardless of whether you do go after an industry-based niche, which you don't always have to do, but I want to talk to you about the industry niches that you should avoid. Just because someone wants to work with you doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best customer for you. It might be that an easy sale is not necessarily an easy customer, and particularly with these niches, they often act like they want help, but really, when you get down to it, they're very difficult to work with, and I want to show you why they're not necessarily the best type of customer to work with. Not all industries are worth going after. Just because you can define an industry doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to go after. These industries can often be very difficult to work with. Starting at the top, lawyers. Everyone likes to go after lawyers because they think they have a lot of money, and they do. But the reason they have a lot of money is because they don't like spending it. Their job is basically to win deals and take money away from other people, not necessarily selling their services. They hate spending money, so they're going to hate spending money on you. I've never met a lawyer or a solicitor or a barrister, wherever in the world you are, that whatever lingo you use, that likes spending money on acquisition. The problem as well is that they've got too many decision makers. They've got board members, they've got partners, it goes rounds in circles. What I find, and we've worked with solicitors and lawyers in the past, but what I find is a lot of the time they like the idea of wanting something new, and they say, yeah, we want to do something new and dynamic and have this brand new brand and this website and all this kind of cool stuff. But when they get round to it, it ends up looking exactly the same as everything else, because lawyers, by definition, are a business that plays it safe. They hate risk. They absolutely loathe the idea of doing anything different. They like to think they're rock stars. And I'm not having a go at lawyers, like they do good work, but as an industry, they're not risk takers. So don't ever think that you're going to do some brand new, amazing work with them, because they're very litigious and they don't really like pushing the envelope, so to speak. The next industry is accountants. Accountants are another industry that people love to go after. They think they've got a lot of money because there's billions of accountants out there. And I love my accountant. She does great work. My accountancy agency does fantastic work, but they're another play it safe industry. Now, there are examples of accountancies that have kind of changed their branding and they only go after a specific niche, but they're very difficult to find. Most accountants and most partners and directors of accountants are another classic example of playing it safe. There's also nothing really that connects an accountant that's one person compared to like PricewaterhouseCoopers. Just because they're an accountant doesn't necessarily mean there's anything in the same kind of strand that niches them together. So you would have to find something else that ties them together as an industry. But as a rule, I don't think they're worth going after. They're only ever going to compare on price. They deal with money every single day, so they're very difficult to negotiate against. And also, everyone is going after them. At some point or another, everyone goes after the accountancy industry because they think that that's where all the money is. Here's my number 3 is my most hated niche. Charities and NGOs, or non-government organizations. Everyone loves the idea of going after charities. Maybe it's the moral thing. Maybe it's they hear that a lot of charities have got a lot of money, which actually they don't. But charities, another one that hates spending money. Charities will always approach you for a discount because they say, look, we're doing really important work in wherever. We don't really have the money to spend. Can you offer us some kind of discount, or can you work with us under a special rate? Because remember, we are a charity. One of the reasons I hate working with charities is because they have way too many decision makers. Way too many decision makers. makers. They have, board members and everything has to go through like ethics boards and stuff like this. So it's very difficult to do anything radical. Typically, they're an industry that has got by on donations, even though you could do a lot with charities. They're very, very difficult to work with. And again, there's not a lot that ties like very small charities compared to global charities. That's one of the reasons I don't think an industry is a niche. There's not really a lot that ties a 3-person manufacturing plant compared to, a huge multinational manufacturing corporation. So the manufacturing industry is not necessarily a niche to go after because there's not enough things tying it together. Charities are another great example of that. I don't really like working with charities. They're hard work. They're always after a discount. Way too many decision makers. They like to work with people. These are a really good example of people who say, yeah, we really want to do some great work, but we can't afford to pay you. Number 4, the service industry. When people say, yeah, we're a marketing funnel agency or a marketing agency, we work with service-based businesses. That's way, way, way too broad. It's crazy broad. People think that the service industry is a niche or even an industry, and it's not. It's way too broad. There's way too many things going on in there. It's not an industry, it's not a niche. It's basically describing the type of product that you deliver to your customers. There's nothing that connects them from one to another, and it can be very, very difficult to identify the core concepts between one service business and another. So if you say that you go after service industries, don't, because you aren't going after anyone. You might as well say that we go after small business, and you know as well as I do that anyone who says they work with small businesses doesn't have a niche and doesn't have a clue who they're going after. Typically as well, service-based industries don't have a scalable product. They also struggle to find a niche for themselves. Anyone in the service industry, unless they have a scalable product and a niche, is going to be difficult to work with. So that, in my opinion, is another industry worth avoiding. Don't say that you work with the service industry. And finally, number 5, local business. You might say that local business is a really smart thing to go after. It's geographically located so that you can kind of go out and meet them and maybe they'll be easy to work with. But typically I've found that most businesses don't identify themselves as a local business. If you say that you want to work with, high street retailers who sell women's clothes, great. Go after that market, choose a particular problem. But saying you go after local businesses, there's not enough that connects, a translation company to a videographer company to a marketing agency. There's no thread there. There's no common thread. You're going to have accountants, lawyers, you're going to have charities mixed in there. You're going to have schools. There's way too many things within local business, but at the same time, it's very, very restrictive. They've often got very tight budgets if you want to go after like mom and pop style stores, even though businesses like that could do incredible things and could completely change their game and their industry. Also, a lot of local businesses tend not to have repeat customers. People like architects and stuff are a good example of a local business, but architects don't really have repeat customers, kind of similar to lawyers in some respect. So don't go after customers that can't have themselves repeat customers, because that's going to be a recipe for disaster. Have you ever worked with any customers in these industries? Have you ever had a bad experience? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, I've got some free training on how to choose a niche for your marketing funnel business. You can find that in the description. Go ahead and subscribe if you're a funnel builder. I produce new videos like this all the time, and I love hearing from you guys in the comments. Give me a like as well. That really helps me out, lets me know that you enjoyed the video. I've probably got a couple of videos here either side talking about why you shouldn't start with traffic, and I've another video maybe on how to choose a niche for your marketing funnel business. Thanks very much for hanging around. These are kind of a couple of extra little videos that, I'll just wait for you to kind of go ahead and click on. So you can click on one of these right now. I've got some free training down below. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Keep building those funnels.